Hello everyone, welcome to Super10 IELTS. So if you're looking for any platform wherein you can understand कि IELTS का format क्या है, structure क्या है, what are the basics of it. There are multiple platforms which are assessing English language, but IELTS is one of them. What structure is it following? क्या उसका फॉर्मेट है. सो दैट्स एग्जैक्टली वाई वी हैव मेड दिस कोर्स, सो दैट आपको समझ आए कि इफ़ यू आर गोइंग टू सिट फॉर दिस एग्जाम, क्या क्या चीज़ें हैं जो आपको ध्यान में रखनी है, क्या क्या चीज़ें हैं जो आपकी असेस होंगी, क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन होगी एग्जामिनर की, और क्या कैसे आपको अपनी प्रेपरेशन स्टार्ट करनी है. So please follow this course if you are looking for basics of IELTS, and we have made 4 lessons. The name of the course is the foundation course. You will get to know about all the 4 modules: listening, reading, speaking, writing in this one. And if you still face any difficulty, you can reach out to us at Super10. So to start with, we'll go for lesson 1 now, and I will again request you, please attend all the 4 lessons. Thank you.
In with the course, IELTS Foundation course. So basically, what we are going to understand in this course is very simple, because आपको पता है ऑलरेडी कि इंग्लिश कम्युनिकेशन या इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज असेसमेंट है, बट अगर असेसमेंट है भी तो उसमें किस टाइप का फॉर्मेट फॉलो हो रहा है या क्या क्या टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस हमारे पास आइल्स एग्जाम में आएंगे. दैट्स व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू हैव अ लुक एट. सो लेट्स सी what we have here is the course overview. Now you have to understand, it is meant to help you understand the basic format of IELTS. So हम लोग इस कोर्स में हर चीज की बात नहीं करने वाले हैं. हम लोग सिर्फ ये समझेंगे कि इसका बेसिक फॉर्मेट क्या है IELTS का, और IELTS की एक्सपेक्टेशंस हमसे क्या है. सो यस, ऑफ कोर्स, लेट्स से यू कैन टॉक इन इंग्लिश. आप रीडिंग कर पाते हो, लिसनिंग कर पाते हो, आपको कितना समझ आता है वो ठीक है, उसका असेसमेंट है. बट एग्जैक्टली आइल्स की क्या एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं, क्या क्या चीजें हमें ध्यान में रखनी है बिफोर वी स्टार्ट प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर इट, ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है. सो do we understand? It's basically understanding the basic structure, format of IELTS and expectations of IELTS. Third point, it is divided into 4 lessons. So this today is going to be lesson 1, and we'll have 3 more lessons after this in this course. And each lesson is of around 20 minutes. It can vary to 18 to 20 minutes or 20 to 22 minutes. That will just depend on the content. Let's start with lesson 1, speaking. Okay. अब हमारा एजेंडा क्या है लेसन 1 स्पीकिंग का. सबसे पहले हमें ये समझना है कि स्पीकिंग एग्जैक्टली क्या फॉर्मेट फॉलो करती है. सो बेसिकली इंट्रोडक्शन टू स्पीकिंग, कितने पार्ट्स हैं उसके, कितने टाइम का होता है, वो सब हम लोग समझेंगे इंट्रोडक्शन टू स्पीकिंग में. सेकेंड चीज, ओवरऑल एक्सपेक्टेशंस क्या है हमारे एग्जामिनर की स्पीकिंग में. So let's say if the examiner is sitting in front of you, what all the examiner is expecting in your language, so that आप उसी के according अपनी preparation कर सको, right? Third, we are going to look at the parts. So you can see in third one, we are going to look at part 1 of speaking, then part 2, then part 3. And at the end, we are going to talk about things to keep in mind. क्या क्या चीजें हैं जो हमें सोचनी है before we start preparing for IELTS exam. Let's start with the introduction to speaking. So basically, yes, speaking actually assesses how comfortable you are in expressing your thoughts in English language. Yes, you can speak in English. Maybe there are broken sentences. Maybe मैं समझ पाती हूँ जब कोई बोलता है कि क्या बोला जा रहा है, बट मैं कितनी कंफर्टेबल हूँ स्पीकिंग में अगर मैं इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज यूज करती हूँ. जैसे हम हिंदी के साथ इतना कंफर्टेबल है, हम लोग इंग्लिश के साथ कितना कंफर्टेबल है व्हेन वी स्टार्ट एक्सप्रेसिंग आवर थॉट्स इन इंग्लिश. दिस इज व्हाट द एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ स्पीकिंग इज. सो इट इज जनरली ऑफ 11 to 14 minutes. आपका ये स्पीकिंग एग्जाम खाली 11 to 14 minutes तक का होता है. इसी में आपके सारे पार्ट्स कवर होते हैं, and it has basically 3 parts. So each part has different way of assessing your speaking skills. Why 3 parts? Because सिर्फ एक तरीके से आपका speaking assessment नहीं होगा. There are multiple ways that IELTS has developed so that your assessment can happen, right? So that's why we are going to look at even the different ways of assessment that even speaking has. Let's start with the overall expectations of the examiner. Now, जो examiner है वो अपने पार्ट पे क्या क्या expectations है उसकी, क्या उसके दिमाग में है कि if somebody is speaking in English, what are the things that I'm thinking of, and I'll decide whether this person has the ability to express the thoughts in English or not. So वो क्या क्या चीजें हैं जो examiner एक देखता है. Starting with the first one is fluency. So fluency is actually when you speak, how comfortable you are in just continuously talking in English. So for example, मैं बोलती हूँ 2 sentences. I have been given this responsibility and I will make sure that I live up to it. Okay, this is one sentence. You noticed how fluent I was in this. Second sentence would be, again, I'm repeating the same sentence but with a different fluency. I know the expectations and I'm trying to live up to it. So you notice the fluency in both the sentences. In the second sentence, I'm not as fluent as I was in the first one. So this is what the examiner looks for. आप कितना fluent हैं अपने language में, ताकि आप अपने thoughts जो भी हैं वो बहुत अटक अटक के या बहुत fluently कैसे express करते हैं वो check करते हैं. Second में कितना आप सेंस बना रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने एक सेंटेंस बोला और फटाफट दूसरे पे जंप हो गए, या फिर जो आपकी एंटायर स्पीच है उसमें कुछ सेंस नहीं बन रहा है बहुत ज्यादा. एंड इफ यू आर एक्सप्रेसिंग योर थॉट्स अबाउट समथिंग, how much you are able to show the overall progression for the same, that also would be considered. Third thing is vocabulary. Words आपके कैसे words आप यूज करते हैं. नहीं, इसका एक्सपेक्टेशन ये नहीं है कि आप अपने पूरे लैंग्वेज में बहुत सारे हेवी वर्ड्स यूज करें, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. यू कैन यूज द सिंपल वोकैबुलरी, यू कैन यूज द एवरेज वोकैबुलरी, बट आप उसको कितना इफेक्टिवली यूज कर पाते हैं, दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. सो यस, यू नीड टू लर्न अ लॉट ऑफ न्यू वर्ड्स, बट more important is that you also learn how to exactly use them in your sentences. Grammar. So grammar में जैसे हमारे हिंदी में grammar है, similarly हमारे English में भी grammar है. So how correctly we can speak in English using all the different sentence structures. So आप देख रहे हैं मैंने लिखा है range and accuracy. Range में, for example, आप present के बारे में बात कर सकते हैं, आप past के बारे में बात कर सकते हैं, maybe future के बारे में भी बात कर सकते हैं, but for example you have to define some incident, or for example आपसे कोई if या in case question होता है, what would you do if you are something like that. if ऐसा question आपसे पूछा जाता है, तो how correctly can you answer that question would also be there. Then last but not the least, your pronunciation. Please don't confuse it with accent. It is not accent. Pronunciation is different. Pronunciation is basically how clearly you can pronounce the words. So I can say fair, but I want to say fear, and I'm saying fair. So that doesn't make sense. So how accurately can you speak the words? How accurately can you pronounce the words would matter in pronunciation. Because अगर आप fear को fair बोल रहे हैं, तो सामने वाले को समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि आप exactly क्या बोलना चाह रहे हैं. The person would consider fair. Fair is like F-A-I-R. Okay, moving on to part 1. So, like I told you, it has 3 parts, part 1, 2 and 3. Part 1 में आपके क्या cover होता है? It's basically a very friendly conversation that you have with the examiner. Because इस conversation में आपसे examiner आपके बारे में ही पूछता है. So आप weddings में जाते हो, आप कहीं भी parties में जाते हो या get together होता है, तो आपसे थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन, कोई नया बंदा आपको मिलता है, आपसे पूछता है हु आर यू, वेयर डू यू वर्क, और आप कहाँ पढ़ते हैं, ये सब चीजें जो जनरल कॉन्वर्सेशन है, वही एग्जामिनर आपसे यहाँ पे पूछने की कोशिश कर रहा है. सो इट्स completely about you. And the major objective is that they want to make you comfortable with the conversation. It's like a warm up. So आप एक्सरसाइज से पहले थोड़ा सा वार्म अप करते हो. कंप्लीट इंटेंसिव एक्सरसाइज से पहले थोड़ा सा वार्म अप जरूरी होता है. This part one is kind of that warm up. So that's why it's important कि आप इस part में comfortable हो. बहुत ज़्यादा nervous now, because then in other parts you will have different type of questions which you will require more attention for. So look at this one. It has introduction in it, and the questions like, what do you study? Do you like your hometown? Are you good at sports? Are clothes important to you? So you can see you is always there, and it's a very general question about you. Moving on to part 2, which is basically about something around you or related to you. So, of course, most of the people think कि ये सबसे difficult part है, but ये difficult part इसलिए नहीं है because इसके questions difficult हैं, because इसमें आपको continuously 2 मिनट के लिए बोलना होता है, और फिर हमारे challenges जैसे आइडिया नहीं जनरेट हो पा रहा है, ऐसे challenges आते हैं. वो हम बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे. अभी हम ये समझेंगे कि एग्जैक्टली पार्ट में है क्या. So basically the questions are related to you or something around you, but they are monologue. So आप first part में एक conversation type कर रहे थे, but इस part में खाली आपको बोलना है. So it's kind of a monologue for you, and you just have to speak. So questions like, describe a book you have recently read. You have recently read. It won't ask you अरुंधति रॉय ने कौन सी रिसेंटली अभी बुक लिखी है. मे बी आपको नहीं पता. सो दैट्स फाइन. दैट्स व्हाई बेसिकली इट आस्क्स क्वेश्चंस रिलेटेड टू यू, जो आपसे रिलेटेड हो, एंड आई एम श्योर आपको वो पता होगा. So let's say if you haven't read a book recently, you can talk about a book that you have ever read, and you can tell the examiner about it. And then there are bullet points also for that. What kind of book it is, what it is about, what sort of people would enjoy it, and explain why you liked it. So one question and the pointers related to the same, the bullet points related to the same would be there. So इसमें आपको एक क्यू कार्ड मिलता है जो आपको हैंड ओवर होता है, और आपको 1 मिनट के लिए प्रिपेयर करना होता है अपना आंसर. You get only 1 minute to prepare your answer, and after that you have to talk for 2 minutes. So that's how part 2 works. And then part 3. So this is basically your opinion around a general topic. Now understand, this is also your opinion. It's not asking about what the world thinks or what the prime minister thinks about it, what the survey says about it. ऐसा कोई आपसे tough ओपिनियन नहीं मांगा है कि आपको कोई सर्वे कोट करना है या कुछ पीएचडी रिसर्च रिपोर्ट बतानी है उसके बारे में. आपको सिंपली अपना ओपिनियन बताना है उस टॉपिक के बारे में. सो फॉर एग्जांपल, व्हाट मेक्स अ गुड स्टूडेंट? आई थिंक एस इज error there. It would be what makes a good student. And then what role should the teacher have in the classroom? How has teaching changed in your country? So you see there is a pattern. The topic would be almost similar, and there would be 2 to 3, 4 to 5 questions around it. And then, do you think diet is important? What is a balanced diet? Why do some people enjoy eating out? So a lot of follow-up questions would be there. It's kind of a discussion that you're having with the examiner. So here you listen to the question, you respond, and then you listen to the next question, then you respond. So it lasts for some minutes, right? So this is part 3. And then there are certain things that you should keep in mind before you start the preparation, because बहुत सारे institutes, बहुत सारे teachers, बहुत सारे trainers हैं जो आपको बोल रहे हैं कि ये चीज करो, वो चीज करो, और फिर आपको समझ नहीं आता है क्या चीज करनी है, क्या चीज नहीं करनी, because you are very new to it. So I just hope this helps you, that things that you have to keep in mind. I'm sorry, it has to be things to keep in mind. So do not look for common topics. Do not try to memorize any answers. These both points are related because do not look for common topics. As soon as you get to prepare for IELTS exam, you start looking for common topics. ये एंट्रेंस एग्जाम नहीं है जिसके लिए आपको कॉमन टॉपिक सर्च करने पड़े, ये क्वेश्चन आता है, ये क्वेश्चन आता है. ऐसा कोई कॉमन टॉपिक आइल्स में नहीं है. So stop looking for them because you actually have to focus on practicing being comfortable with the language. You don't have to prepare certain answers, and that's why do not try to memorize any answers, because once you memorize any answer, then you will go to the examiner and speak like a robot, and the examiner will understand you have memorized the answer, which is also going to be the rare case कि जो आपने आंसर याद किया है वो वहां पे बोल दिया, and you will definitely, if you do that, you are going to talk like a robot. So please don't do that. Speak naturally without any accent. किसी किसी को एक कंफ्यूजन होती है कि क्या मैं एक्सेंट में बात करूं, क्या मैं एक्सेंट में नहीं बात करूं. इंग्लिश is a language. It doesn't judge you on the accent that you have. The accent comes from the place you are staying at. So जैसे आपका हिंदी में accent होता है, regional accent होता है. So उसी की तरीके से आपका इंग्लिश का भी accent होता है. And that's all right if you talk in your own accent. The only thing you have to focus on is pronunciation. You have to make sure whatever you are speaking, your pronunciation comes out clearly. If you are making mistake in pronunciation, that would be counted. For example, again, like I said, fear, fair. So you have to make sure you're pronouncing your words clearly. Do not try to make your sentences very complex. So some students try to show off their complex sentences. कि मुझे कितना grammar का knowledge है, and they end up making mistake. Please try and stick to the sentences which are not very complex and the examiner or anybody listening to you can understand you easily. Practice vocabulary in sentences. Please do that. अगर आप कोई भी नया वर्ड सीख रहे हो और आप उसको देख के ऐसे ही छोड़ देते हो, अच्छा मैंने मतलब देख लिया, अब मुझे आ गया है वो वर्ड, that is not going to work for you. Whenever you learn a word, whenever you are into learning vocabulary, you have to make sure that you look for the pronunciation of the same, and then you also use or practice using that word in sentences. That's really important. So that you understand ये word actually sentences में कैसे use होगा. आप सिर्फ मतलब जान के उसको sentence में लगा दो, you end up making mistake. So please don't do that. Last but not the least, practice material. You will be confused कौन सा practice material मैं use करूँ अपने IELTS preparation के लिए, and this is where you can get the guidance from here. There are Cambridge guides available in the market that you can take, and they are very authentic since they come from the official organization itself. So that's why please refer to only official material. When I say official, it is IELTS, IDP, Cambridge, British Council. Any of them can be considered as official because it's the joint venture for them. Now, please make sure if you're practicing, you practice here in Cambridge guides, or you can use online resources as well, which you can take help from IELTS.org, IDPIELTS.me, any of the websites that you want to refer to. If there is any other material except for this, please make sure it is an official material. The practice test that you have been provided, they are taken from official guides or something. Thanks a lot for joining for session 1. I'm sure if you keep these things in mind, you can prepare authentically for your exam and you will have no problem. Please make sure that you follow the next 3 lessons also, which are on reading, speaking. No, speaking is done, which are on reading, writing, and listening. And you understand the fundamental things about those as well. Thanks a lot. See you again.